Okay, it's that time again. We're picking 3 rumoured transfers that we like the sound of, that we'd like to happen, that we're keen to go through. And Sam, you're going to start us off.
Yeah, I'd seen links of Gini Wijnaldum to Roma, loan with a potential option to buy at around 10 million euros. I absolutely adore this. Because Wijnaldum is an amazing footballer, and I just feel like over the last 12 months, PSG have been very cruel and made us forget that. You know, they botched the transfer completely, totally and utterly misused him, and he's now been on the transfer list pretty much from the moment that Galtier took the reins. There's just no room for him, and you know, signing Vitinha means that there's even less room for him than before. Wijnaldum is brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. He's an experienced head, a veteran presence. He's a top professional. He's a multifunctional midfielder, super energetic, really good tactical IQ, really good at pressing, can surge forward into the box and score goals. He's got good defensive instinct. Over the course of the career, he's played 6, 8 and 10, all to varying degrees of wild success, winning Champions Leagues and league titles. I mean, there's probably half the Liverpool fan base that would welcome him back in a heartbeat, you know?
I think more than half. Yeah.
And Roma sit here on the cusp of grabbing him for, you know, a try before you buy loan deal with a really reasonable option. Now, I know built into that is the fact that he's going to be on a PSG wage, which, you know, is going to be covered or half covered or whatever it is. But Roma did not make Sergio Oliveira permanent from Porto. And I was a bit surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because he did really well for them. And he's exactly the kind of grizzled midfielder that Jose Mourinho really likes. So they need to go and find another guy. Okay, Wijnaldum isn't quite as grizzled as Sergio Oliveira, to be fair, no one is. But he is a very dependable, reliable presence. And he is at the right age profile and the right experience to probably take this team a step forward.
I don't like it.
Why?
Do you know why? Because this could turn Mourinho into a title winner. It does not fit with my agenda at all.
Mourinho's already a title winner at Roma.
I'm worried a bit because I didn't think Mourinho would even see out the season. And then seeing Dybala sat there in front of 4 million people, or however many turned up in Rome the other day.
That was amazing.
It was unbelievable.
Absolutely ridiculous. And I was like, oh, they're actually doing well, aren't they? And he is actually a good fit. Jack might be right after all. And I don't like that when that happens. And if they get Wijnaldum as well, and as we, Milan aren't strengthening, and Juve, who knows what they end up doing. Roma are
quietly building the ranks,
slowly just plugging away.
Both of the Rome teams, actually, Roma and Lazio, and I know that no one will like me saying this on either side because no one wants the other to be good as well. But they have both strengthened really well this summer, and they've brought in some really clever pieces.
The last thing on Wijnaldum is that what we thought was the idea at PSG was that he would come in and do quite a lot of the hard running for some of the more sort of extravagant attacking pieces they've got. And it's not just Messi and Neymar there that we're talking about, it's also Hakimi, who bombards forward and leaves tons of space. You need players that are intelligent enough to drop into those spaces. Roma may just have got themselves in that position with Dybala, and they might be looking at someone like Gini Wijnaldum as someone that can fill in those spaces and just manage the space that Dybala leaves and drifts out of. You need that balance in a team, and I'm sort of hoping they do what I thought PSG would do, but they just didn't.
Yeah.
Because it makes all the sense in the world on paper.
Also, there's another point there to be made that bringing Wijnaldum in and having those kind of attacking instincts from the midfield too, as Jose's been playing, means that there is someone to cover there when Pellegrini does play higher up, and it means you can make this team work in a lot of different ways. Yes. And I like that versatility
as well.
Yeah, you can put Lorenzo Pellegrini into the 2 behind the striker and put Wijnaldum in behind him, and you don't lose anything. Or you can play them together and play a 3 up top of Dybala, Zaniolo and Tammy Abraham, and have the legs in behind to make that work. There's lots here that I like, so I agree. Right, DJ, let's go to you. What are you picking out?
Ronaldo to Chelsea. This is absolutely madness.
You're.
This is a transfer I want to see happen because it makes no sense at all, and I just want to see it unfold. It's still on the table. Ronaldo still wants to leave Man United. Chelsea still have no sign of a striker for next season, and something has to give. They need to find one. And if Tuchel can't give Todd Bowley a reasonable guy to go after and get, then the owner is ready to go for Ronaldo. And it would be funny. It would be mad.
It would be funny.
It would be mad. As Premier League storylines go, Ronaldo playing for Chelsea next season is one of the maddest ones we would potentially see. The talk of a 1-year deal at Chelsea, I can't believe Man United will let it happen. But Ronaldo's Ronaldo, and if he doesn't want to be there, there's a fair chance he won't.
He usually
be there.
gets what he wants, doesn't
and
he?
Jorge Mendes usually gets what he wants.
The talk right now is like Man United, like, well, this time you won't, because one, the clubs that you're talking about aren't actually in for you at the moment, and two, we actually do still want you.
I like how they wheeled Sir Alex out.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, Cristiano's not having it. We're going to wheel Sir Alex out to kick him in the shins and tell him to get on with it."
Did that not work? Hostage negotiator, Sir Alex?
Apparently not.
I don't know if that was actually directly linked. I think it might have been a slight coincidence, but ultimately, like, the whole story has been pretty weird, because if he was this desperate not to play for Man United, then we should have heard about it a lot sooner than we actually did, because we knew they weren't going to be in the Champions League.
Especially considering they've been very impressive in pre-season now. I know, usual caveats apply, pre-season, don't read too much into it.
They are looking like a better team.
They look better, and they're creating chances.
No, he won't have Champions League football this season, but at some point in his career, he's not going to have Champions League football. He has to accept that that can't always be the case.
He gets to play in Europe's most exciting club competition if he stays at Manchester United, and that in itself is very exciting.
But he also gets to push for the Champions League and get Man United back into it again. Like, I don't know, like when he came in, it was like that first game he had back, and like the fans singing his name, and like it was so big in that moment. And like less than a year later, here he is.
That was against Steve Bruce's Newcastle.
Yeah.
That didn't even count.
It's a free hit.
Can we just say, first of all, I reckon the whole Champions League thing is because he is petrified that he's going to lose his goal record in the Champions League. I think he is genuinely that individualistic that he just wants to stay in the Champions League for as long as possible.
That's why he stayed at such a high level.
To pile on the goals, because he's worried that I don't know how far back Benzema is, but Messi in particular, obviously, they're kind of there. So he's being selfish to an extent in that area, and I don't think that should wash quite as well as it does with some Man United fans, because he has basically taken them from second to sixth and then tried to leave, and it's not great. But just to put it from Chelsea's perspective, because you're obviously Professor Chaos here, you just want to see everything up in flames.
Yeah. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Dean Jones.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a Fulham fan and it's Chelsea.
So, from Chelsea's perspective, I think this is a terrible idea. I really do.
I agree.
Well, so does Tuchel. That's half the problem.
Yeah. Tuchel does not want to stand there and tell Ronaldo to press.
He will score goals,
because no one ever really gets away with that, apart from Zidane and Sir Alex. He didn't even press under Sir Alex Ferguson. The game was very different back then. No one's really ever got away with it except for Zidane. And Tuchel probably just thinks, I don't need this. He's not the forward that I want. He's not the right profile.
There aren't many out there. Like, he needs goals, and he's got to fight a forward. And Bowen's going to be like, I can't let you end the deadline day, end to the transfer window, without us signing somebody. Like, we have no goals in this team as it stands. Like, yes, Sterling will score, but we don't have like the nine.
Pop into Sassuolo and give him 25 minutes for a meal for Raspadori.
They're not selling Scamacca and Raspadori, are they?
Napoli are in for him, so maybe.
I mean, look, ultimately, the profile for Chelsea striker is so incredibly specific. It's so hard to hit, and that's why they end up actually the best two options are Sterling and Kai Havertz. They just can't deviate from that. This is how big mistakes happen. This is when a bad fit for a player and a bad fit for a manager get put together. Chelsea literally just did this last summer.
Yeah.
And it's cost them 90 million in Lukaku.
This one's cheaper.
This one would be cheaper,
slightly cheaper.
But potentially with the same ramifications.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a strange one, isn't it? Also, Sterling already wants the number 7 shirt. What's he going to do? So there we are. I'm going to finish with an in and an out quickly at Manchester City. I really like Cucurella from Brighton going to City. Just makes sense. Just one of those players who will fit the profile. Now, the haggling over the fee is reasonable. Brighton know what they got for Ben White. They know that City want this player. They know what City have paid for players like Nathan Ake in the past.
Their entire back line is made up of £50 million players.
They are more than fine holding out for 50 million here. Yeah. I think City will eventually just pay it. Yeah. It might come in instalments or in add-ons, but I think eventually this figure will just be reached. He just makes sense, doesn't he? With Zinchenko gone there and that left back option strolling out of the squad. Yeah. I think Cucurella is a natural fit here. He's a brilliant footballer. Has played further up on the left wing at times for Spain. We've seen and will be able to cut inside.
He played for the 10. Played as the 10 for Spain's unders once.
He will play there for Man City, basically.
He's a gorgeous footballer, Cucurella. You can completely understand why Brighton don't want to lose him. And also the thing with Brighton is they can sit there and be like, 50 million. If you don't buy him for that price, fine, we'll keep him.
They also know that Man City don't usually sign backup people. Like City aren't going to say, okay, we can't get him. Well, we've got a list of 7 other players who fit the profile. They won't have that because they want their number one target, or they wait for them, or wait at least until there's somebody else that they feel is as good as that person. And there has been no talk since Anthony Robinson of Fulham of them signing anybody else.
That makes zero to less sense, I'd argue, in terms of a profile for City left backs. But hey, who am I to question Pep? But I like that.
You're not questioning Pep. You're questioning Begiristan there. And this is one of the best run clubs in the world. That's why the shortlist is so small. They know that Cucurella is perfect for them,
and they know that Cucurella would like to join. I think is probably the ultimate.
But from Brighton's perspective, they know that City can afford 50 million.
Yeah, and they also know that they don't need to sell.
Yeah, they've got him on a contract to 2026 or so, I think. So they've got all the power.
Come back next summer if you fancy it. If you don't want to pay up now.
But it does look like a good prospective move for City.
Yeah, I like it. I like it just as a fit. It makes plenty of sense. But one outgoing, Samuel Edozie, who looks like he might be on his way to Bayer Leverkusen. Now, he's a youngster, obviously. Spent a lot of time with the EDS, City's elite development squad. I just like the idea of another youngster who hasn't quite got the pathway to make it, hopping over to Germany and potentially looking at the path that Jadon Sancho started. I know that Jamie Bino-Gittens has gone over there as well to Dortmund. But him going to Leverkusen... Aren't
they supposed to go to Dortmund?
They are supposed to go to Dortmund.
He's breaking the rules here,
but I do quite like the idea of him at Leverkusen because he is that chaotic kind of style of winger that I think actually would fit right in to the way that Bayer Leverkusen play. Dortmund feel a little bit stuck in those areas. There's a lot of players who can play in those different wide spaces.
Stacked.
Yeah, sorry. And they do feel like they're probably
they don't need more. They got
so I feel like over to Leverkusen, where there's still the threat of Diaby leaving. I think he will stay, but there is that threat over the top of him leaving, even if not now, then next summer. You're bringing in someone who can take up that mantle. I just think it's a really fun signing, and so I would like to see him go and take his chance over in Germany. I know Southampton have stuck their necks above the parapet now as well and gone, we'd like in as well, actually. If you've got any young players for sale, Southampton will have them. They want everyone. They want all the smoke.
Anyone aged 19 to 21.
19 to 21 from a top 6 academy, Southampton will have them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Leverkusen feels like a good fit, so I'm gonna run with that one. And there we have it. They are our transfers we'd like to happen for this week. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more from us at Ranks FC.